Okay, I am back. It's been a long time, but lost my way a bit in terms of keeping a regular schedule with uploading anything, creating anything at all. Kind of gone completely off the wagon with the creation side of things, to be honest. Been doing a lot of stuff with my business and not sure where that's going right now, but yeah, I digress. So, I wanted to make this one about something. My friend the other day, we went to London and we did this fun little podcast. Just an hour where you hire a booth and you just pretend like you're a podcaster little group. So, a lot of fun. Talked about our predictions, near death experiences, fun stuff like that. So, yeah, it's highs and lows. And talked about our kind of position in life at the moment, what we're doing, where we feel like we're at right now, and where we want to go. And my friend told me that he actually watched one of my videos, and it was my friend who showed him, and blah blah blah. So, and I looked at it, I was like, oh really? Okay, that's cool. Thanks. So it was quite funny to know that something I made well over a year ago, well actually I think it was just about a year ago, when I uploaded it, he's now watching that an entire year later, something that I made just by sitting in here in my little room giving my thoughts. And it's kind of a weird feeling when you've made something for yourself. It's not like a flex, it's just, yeah, it's quite satisfying. Anyway, so I was watching a YouTube video recently, and I say recently, it was literally like an hour ago. And the guy, I've literally just found his channel, so I can't remember the channel name, but I will pop it in the description if I remember to. Basically, he goes on about, it's more about like financial freedom, kind of self-helpy kind of talk. One of the things that I've heard it before, but he kind of reminded me of, was that he said that even though he knows some people that have sold their business and their company very successfully for, like 9 figures, 100 million exits, dollars, pounds, whatever, $100 million exit, never have to work again. And then obviously they go and retire in, I don't know what country, some crazy sandy beach in the middle of nowhere where they get waited on. But he said within 2 months they become depressed. So, not that I've not kind of heard something like that before, but you think maybe, is that down to the individual, or is that down to our human condition, if you like, And so the fact that I've heard it through multiple different, all right, I don't know these people personally. This is stuff that I've read. I think even Jordan Peterson says it. Like, what are you going to do? Just go and sip pina coladas on the beach for the rest of your life? Because I think this idea of checking out of society, as in like you win the game, and then you get to just go and do whatever you want. I don't think there's much difference mentally to sort of being unemployed and broke, and sort of purposeless, than being rich and never have to work again and purposeless. It's the same condition, right? I wouldn't know, obviously. I'm not got £100 million in the bank. But the fact that these people say that, even like they have all the stuff, all the money in the bank that you could ever want and ever need for generations to come, and yet they get depressed. And it goes to show you that life is obviously not just about having a big checkout, off we go, I've made it, because that's not what really gives life its meaning. These people then end up craving getting some sort of meaning back in their life, and creating a business or creating a new product, whatever it may be, content creation, even just teaching what they know, teaching their knowledge that they've learned from the successes that they've had. So yeah, I was just pondering that at the time. I'm holding this book, but I might keep this for the next video because I've really gone way off of this. So I'm going to keep that in the next video that I make, which I'll probably make just after this because it's a completely different topic. Same kind of psychological stuff, meaning, life meaning and stuff. But yeah, we'll go from there. But it does relate to how my friend watched my video on one of the book reviews that I did about unwinding anxiety, and he said that he liked how it's presented, blah, 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 and found some use out of it. And he ended up giving me this book. So maybe I will have to talk about it in this video, because otherwise this whole story is not going to make much sense. So, okay, we'll go on to it. This is The Prophet by Khalil Gibran, if I've pronounced that right. I think it's a classic. I've never seen it, but I imagine there are probably people watching this screaming like, how have you never seen this in your life? This is a famous book. But Penguin Classics, la la la, and it's got some old looking artwork. I might be butchering this. But there was one, I've not even read past the first chapter. It has a contents which is completely invisible on here, I think, but it's sort of separated into love, marriage, children, giving, eating and drinking, work, joy and sorrow, and I think it goes on from there. I feel like there's a religious theme. Again, people might be screaming if I've been given something that is a classic. Anyway, but I interpreted it in my own way, and I just wanted to sort of read out some bits because I found it really, what's the word? Not even insightful, but just deep. So let's find some. It kind of starts with this person, and he talks about, the book mentions about his watching over the ocean in waiting of the ship that is coming to take him from where he currently lives and where he has been. I take that back. So it's back to where he was born, but it kind of, unless I've misread it, it gives the idea that this person has been on the current island that he's on for a very long time, many years, and it seems like people may have raised him or they've lived with him for a long time. Something about the 12th year, 7th day of la la la. He's waiting for his ship to come and take him. And it talks about how as he's waiting there, sadness came into his heart. How shall I go in peace and without sorrow? It says, not without a wound in the spirit shall I leave this city. Long were the days of pain I have spent within its walls, and long were the nights of aloneness, and who can depart from his pain and his aloneness without regret? Too many fragments of the spirit have I scattered in these streets, and too many are the children of my longing that walk naked among these hills, and I cannot withdraw from them without a burden and an ache. It is not a garment I cast off this day, but a skin that I tear with my own hands. Nor is it a thought I leave behind me, but a heart made sweet with hunger and with thirst. It goes on to say, the sea that calls all things unto her calls me, and I must embark. So before I carry on reading the next line, the reason I wanted to put this into an actual video and share it is because to me it kind of almost signifies the coming of age that we all go through, that calling away from the safety of your home and your parents and the protection that they provide you, and just generally providing for you as a person, as an adult. And you know, sort of early 20s, mid 20s, when people start to leave home, even late 20s now, you know, whatever your financial situation is, we won't go into that. But my point being is that it kind of symbolizes this call into the world. And I really love it because it's almost like, I don't know if it reads as like I interpreted it to the camera, but it just feels appropriate if you're of that age, or you've been through that kind of transition period, or even if you're just at that crux of the transition period, just about to make that transition away from home, away from safety. Alternatively, you know, we could look at that like moving away from a job that you hate and diving into the world of entrepreneurship, and or perhaps starting some sort of new course, starting a channel, starting some sort of content creator, some sort of business, some sort of, even just like a charitable endeavor of some sort, putting yourself out there into the world for everyone to see and to judge. You're leaving that home. I know it says he's going back to his home, but let's say like the place that he's been for years and years. I don't know what the book goes into, so I don't know who's protecting who, but I feel like it's almost symbolism of the family and the parents. And the bit that's next is, so it says, the sea that calls all things unto her calls me, I must embark, right? We've done that one. I cannot tarry any longer is a line before that. And my favorite bit here is, for to stay, though the hours burn in the night, is to freeze and crystallize and be bound in a mold. And I think that's what happens. This is going to get super deep, but the way that I interpreted that myself, whether I'm accurate or not, I don't know what this author was intending. It's like if you ignore that call, whatever it may be, whether it's going from childhood to adulthood, moving chapters, even things like a breakup, when you know something's not quite right. It's the idea that you will crystallize and stagnate, and you will become bound in a mold, right? And I don't know, that's kind of the main point of what I wanted to make this video for, is that those lines just resonate so well. And it also goes on to say, fain would I take with me all that is here, but how shall I? And it's that idea of, to get to that next stage, that next chapter, the way I interpret this, is you have to sacrifice what you have now that's keeping you stuck, and means that you will crystallize and that your spirit will die. You have to leave all that behind and sacrifice that in order to move to a better place where your life will continue And if you've ever been stuck in a phase where sometimes they can go on for years, where you feel like you're not with the right person, where you're not feeling fulfilled in your work, you know, there's that draw to something. You can't explain it, but you just feel it. I just feel like this one page, well, these 2 pages kind of hit that nail on the head of sometimes you do need to just, as scary as it is, take that step into the scary unknown void. And I love talking about things like this because it's, you know, people call me deep and waffly, but the right audience will know what I'm talking about. Like, you just feel some things. That's why literature is so fun to read sometimes. Just hits your soul, right? And alone and without his nest shall the eagle fly across the sun.